The parents of Courtney Clenney, the defendant in what many people are calling the OnlyFans murder case, have just been arrested from their home in Austin, Texas, in connection with their daughter's murder case. And there apparently is a bond hearing today for the both of them. According to TMZ, they were both arrested for tampering with a laptop that was owned by Christian Obumseli, the alleged murder victim. Now, to be clear, in an evidence tampering case, the prosecution has to show beyond reasonable doubt that the person deliberately and knowingly concealed, destroyed, or otherwise altered evidence. And specifically in Florida, here's what the statute says. It is unlawful for any person knowing that a criminal trial, proceeding, or investigation by a duly constituted prosecuting authority is pending or is about to be instituted to alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or other item with the purpose to impair its verity or availability in such proceeding or investigation. And that's a third-degree felony, by the way. So the parents are now also looking at up to 5 years in prison over this. So given the fact that the parents have been arrested under this statute, it sounds like either Florida police are saying that the parents removed the laptop either to make it unavailable or to alter it in some way to remove some incriminating evidence. So what exactly happened here? Well, the laptop was apparently left in Clenney's Miami apartment after the incident, and when the police investigated the scene, they did not impound the laptop with other pieces of evidence. Why they didn't is definitely a question, but police don't always take all personal devices when they do investigate a crime scene. Should they have in this case? Probably. Given how many personally recorded audios and videos have been leaked to the press coming from their relationship before this incident, showing that the defendant was incredibly toxic and in many cases even violent against Christian Obumseli, there definitely is a chance that there could be some kind of file on his laptop where he was maybe keeping a small database of some self-recorded videos or audios showing more of this kind of footage. And of course, how would the police know about any of that if they didn't even look at the laptop? Anyway, after the police searched the apartment, Clenney's father, Kim, allegedly went into the apartment to collect some of his daughter's items and then decided to also collect Obumseli's laptop. When he took it back home to Texas, Courtney allegedly gave him the password to get into the device. And when he opened it, supposedly the only thing that was on that hard drive was a crypto exchange platform. If you've been following this case, you probably know that Obumseli's main source of income apparently came from crypto trading. So the existence of a crypto exchange on the laptop doesn't seem crazy or out of the ordinary. However, the fact that that's apparently the only thing on the laptop does sound a little suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
I mean, really, just how believable is it that that's literally the only thing that's on that laptop when Kim and Deborah Clenney got access to the hard drive? Now, don't get me wrong. It could, in fact, be that that's the case, that there was nothing on there but the crypto exchange platform. But at the very least, this now introduces a whole other line of questions about what may have really happened with that laptop. Was there something incriminating against the defendant, for example? By taking custody of that laptop and examining it on their own, they at the very least cast a major shadow over the purity of that evidence, which will only come to bite the defendant in the ass. And probably the parents too. Anyway, apparently after the parents looked over the laptop, they turned it over to Courtney's legal team. Now, even though they supposedly voluntarily turned it over to the legal team, like I said, there's a major shadow that's been cast over whether any serious changes were made to the laptop in favor of the defendant. Now, it is important to note that he did go into the apartment after the police investigated. And this honestly could cut both ways. On the one hand, he could argue that, well, the police already went in there. Anything that was left behind seemed like it was probably not needed for the investigation. On the other hand, it can also be argued that, well, he knew very well that when he went into that apartment, things were being searched in that apartment for the purposes of a police investigation over the death of Christian Obumseli. And while it may be legitimate to go in afterwards and get some things that his daughter needed, he has absolutely zero justification for taking Obumseli's laptop when he knows that the police are investigating Obumseli's death. And on top of that, remember, he did then turn it over to Courtney Clenney's legal team, meaning that he did seem to think that it was somehow relevant to the investigation or relevant to her case. Also, I would anticipate that a thorough forensic analysis of the laptop either already has been done or is being done by the prosecution. That said, whether or not they can determine that some information was wiped from the hard drive is potentially another matter. But if they have found that something was removed from the hard drive, that's going to be a big problem for the defense. Even if they can't tell what exactly was removed, the act of some kind of removal from that hard drive means that a jury can potentially be instructed that they can presume that whatever it was damaging evidence for the defendant. So I anticipate that this is definitely going to come up when this case eventually goes to trial, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. And if either of the parents or Courtney Clenney decide to testify on Courtney's behalf, this is something that undoubtedly is going to come up on cross-examination. So in light of this turn of events, I don't know if the defense is going to want to call the parents as character witnesses on Courtney's behalf. They might have to find someone else for that, maybe some kind of friends of Courtney or something. Because now, if the parents testify, they can't invoke the Fifth Amendment on this issue, and they run the risk of self-incriminating because, like I said, this is definitely legitimate fodder for cross-examination. Now, in terms of where we are in the pretrial process, the docket shows that the next hearing in the case is on February 1st. That's tomorrow. This appears to be a hearing over some discovery motions, particularly motions to compel discovery. So it looks to me like the two parties are really still in the thick of the discovery phase and likely not ready to go to trial anytime soon. It could be definitely months from now is what I would say. But this is definitely a bombshell of a development and one that I thought was worthy of talking about. But what do you think about this? Are you surprised? Are you shocked? How do you see this all playing out at trial? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this or at least found it interesting or informative. And if you did, I would love it if you could hit the like button. It does help us with the YouTube algorithm gods. And if you're new here and you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can find out when the next video is uploaded. See you in the next one.